everybody, it's Sharon here. Welcome back to my channel for those who are returning, and welcome to any new subscribers that may be visiting for the first time. I am going to do a quick me time craft with me inspired by Treasure Books. She did a Ruffle scrap roll. I hope I got that right. And I wanted to create my own, so I thought I would turn the camera on quickly. I have a couple of ideas of how I could use these. So the first one she did was just a plain one, and she started with a straight stitch. So just taking the strips. Now I cut the strips off the sides of my book pages, my music paper. I often have strips of tea stain paper, which I have here. And I don't throw any of these out. I find lots of uses for them. So one of the uses I have is, you've seen before, the tags I created. I haven't actually made the tags on video, but I have used one of the tags that I had pre-made to create a really pretty tag for my wedding journal, which you would see in one of those videos. So, and I plan on doing a tutorial on that. I just haven't got around to it. But this is another way of using these scraps. So I actually love these scraps and I don't like throwing them out. And anyway, I have made I've made paper ruffles quite a bit, but they're usually smaller versions. And I do have one, to see if I can get it down for you. I do have one in my box here. So I have one here that I created. Sorry, I'm being all khaki-handed again. One here that I created to use in something, but as you see, it's relatively short. So this is a way of getting some length to your paper ruffle to be able to do lots of different things with it. And I thought it was a great idea. So here we go. So I think this is music sheet paper that I'm starting with. So from the edge of the music sheet. And so when they started, and Treasure Books, I'm sorry, I don't remember your first name. I'm not even sure if I do know it. But when they first started, they started with a straight stitch and they just did a double stitch to get it going. So just to kick it off. And then creating your ruffle. And I believe they then swapped to a zigzag, and we'll kick it off. Oh, and I've lost my cotton. My cotton broke, or came out of the needle. Sorry, I'm just rethreading. And I have mentioned before, I'm not a sewer, so bear with me. Okay. So it's a very long piece of cotton now. Okay. So we'll try that again, and I will back stitch just to get it started because I did lose my cotton. Okay, so just sewing down the center of that and creating the ruffles as I go. And they don't have to be perfectly the same shape. Okay, and now I'm at the end of that piece of paper. All she did was take her next piece of paper and feed it between that last curve. So if you see here, I've created a little pocket. So taking my next piece and popping it under or between those two pieces of paper to secure it in, and then continue your sewing and creating my next ruffle. And in her video she mentioned that they don't have to be perfect, they don't have to be the same size, which I don't usually do mine the same anyway. So I'm at the end again and I'm just feeding. So the pieces of paper also don't have to be the same size. They can be if you'd prefer that way. You might take a piece of paper yourself and cut it into strips that are the same size. It depends on what you like. But I just wanted to do this to use up my leftovers, so my little scraps. And I thought it was a fabulous idea. So I'm going to add my next piece. I might save that for the next. So I've got a couple of ideas of this in mind. I wanted to create just a plain, so just using, whoops, I forgot to create my ruffle. So I'm going to, this never ends well when I backstitch on my machine. I end up with lots of messy stitching underneath and it's frozen, so, and I've jammed it. I don't know why it doesn't allow me to manually go backwards. It just doesn't seem to like it at all. It's actually caught the stitching. It's created a knot in there, which is why it won't go forward. Okay, I may have to cut that. Right. So I'm going to rethread. Only on camera this would happen. I should have known when I tried to backstitch that it wouldn't work. I think I'll take it back if I can and line my stitch back up. So just trying to line up the hole for my stitch, and I'm going to create my ruffle there. And I went a little bit too far, so I'm just lifting the arm. Try and get my mojo back. Now it's going. Okay, and my next piece. So this is a piece of book paper. It has the book number on it. So it's, sorry about wobbling the camera then. It's from the bottom of the book. And I'm okay with that. I think I want to go a little bit further on that before I create my ruffle. Okay, and again this is from the top of the book paper, so it has a word at the top, but that's okay. And I could turn it upside down if I wanted to. And I'm just curling it underneath that piece of paper that's there, which will help secure it. And my next piece, so again book paper, you can see that beautiful patina across the top of it. popping it in underneath, creating the next ruffle. And again, I've gone a little bit too far, so, and there is no too far, I just don't want my ruffles to be too far apart, which is why I'm saying that. And this is book paper again. It has writing on both sides, so just choosing which side I want to have showing, and I'm going to pop that down. I had a very small piece of paper at the end of that ruffle to play with, so and I'm lifting my arm so I can bring my ruffle into the next, or sorry, the previous ruffle, because I haven't folded my paper soon enough. Okay, just grabbing my next strip, popping that in, and I want to fold it under that piece of paper just to secure that in there. And my next piece, how long have I been going for? 11 minutes. So I don't actually know how long I've created this so far, but it feels like it's going relatively quickly. And I'm just going to lift that and tuck my paper underneath. I don't know that you need to do that, but I just feel like it's securing it in place. I've just got a little piece that's curled there, so I'm just flattening that out. And if you're a sewer, you'll probably do this a lot quicker than I will. So I'm still getting used to sewing, and to do it on camera is quite daunting, knowing people are actually going to watch me do it. Okay, my next piece. And again, I'm not looking for same size papers. I'm just using up whatever scraps I have sitting to the right of me, and I've just pulled these out of my scrap paper bucket. So I'm going to tuck that under that piece of paper. My stitching isn't even going straight, and I don't have a problem with that. So my next piece. And I'm going to see if I can, that last piece was only a very, it's not even sewn in there yet. I'm going to fold this outside of the machine. It's quite a small lip that I have there, and I just want to see, I might make that fold bigger so I can tuck that tiny little lip in between the two pieces. and then hopefully that will secure it in place. And it does become quite quick after a little bit. So, and then I'm going to end it there. So finishing on a straight stitch just to be able to back stitch, which is how it was done, the video that I saw. I'm just going to cut those threads. And so we've ended up with quite a large strip. Now I could have kept going and going and going and going, but for the sake of time I wanted to stop there, and she just kept it rolled up. So for storage purposes, just rolled it up. It's almost like a tape. I will cut those threads off, remembering I had some messy stitching in there somewhere. And that was it. So I'm going to turn the camera off, and, or do I need to? Maybe not. Just bear with me, guys. I've had an idea to use this in my journal that I'm working on, so I should have grabbed my journal. Won't be a moment. Okay, so I'm thinking maybe I could create like almost like a paper curtain. The ruffles are what had me thinking about it. So I want to cut, sorry, I'm really close to my recording device and I just realized I'm probably talking really loud. I wanted to cut strips, which possibly defeats the fact that I've got it in a roll, but this is just what popped into my mind. So it is much quicker to create continuous pieces rather than doing them separately. Where do I want to cut that? Okay, and maybe one more. So how am I going? I think I want a little one there just for the contrast in the paper. Okay, so that's what I've got, and I still have this rather long piece left. Sorry if that's not focusing very well. So this is what I have left, quite a large strip, and we didn't sew for that long. I spent more time trying to fix the sewing machine than I think I did sewing. So I'm just going to move my book to the side. And I'm wanting to, so I've got my strips here. Bring this a little bit closer for you. I'm wanting to sew them together. So I'm just going to overlap them slightly. I'm going to take a paper clip just to hold it in place. Oh, whoops. Now I haven't tried this before. This is something that popped into my head when I was watching the tutorial for the ruffle roll, and I'm going to do a zigzag, and so I'm thinking if I go roughly into that stitch there. Who knows if this will work, guys? Let's go. Oops, wrong way. Okay, so that's one. Just cutting my thread. And my next one. That was a crazy takeoff. Okay. And my next one. And so I've got two more to go. Do I want the word tuna? Oh, it'll probably be covered with the next piece anyway. Although I am having fish in this book, so maybe it's not a bad thing. That's kind of funny. Okay. I think my ruffle is on the wrong way with this one. I'm upside down. Let me see if I can fix that. Just looking for my unpicker. I wouldn't have a problem with it if all of the other pieces weren't the right way around, but they are, or the same way around. So I'll just show you when I get that out. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that off camera. If I did, I was trying to look around the camera. So my ruffles are all folding that way, and this one I had going folded that way. So I'm going to turn that around just so that the ruffles are heading in the same direction. And if I had done others up the other way, it wouldn't seem so odd, but it's a bit strange to change that up now when I only have two left to attach. Okay. And just one more. So this one I'm checking my orientation. And I wasn't sure if this would make the paper really fragile, having so much stitching in it, but it feels relatively firm, so I have the paper around the wrong way anyway. What am I doing? Goodness me. That's because I was thinking more about how fragile the paper might be doing this. So I can't really hide that stitching. Maybe I'll need to make a smaller one to pop on the end of it to cover that. Cover the whole the holes that I just made at the bottom. Although it wouldn't work anyway. Or do I just cut that off? We could do that too. Not really any right or wrong. Now they'll never know. Okay. I often feel like sometimes these things I do should go so much quicker. Probably would if it wasn't me doing them. Okay. Now I do have stitching down the bottom of that, but never mind. Holes, I mean. Okay, and then I will just move this down so I can bring my journal back in. Can I show you this? So it creates a little curtain type tuck, so you can glue it on or you could sew it on, and then you have room to slip things in underneath. So I think it kind of worked. My paper has a little bit of a hole here because the paper is that music paper that is quite, that is quite fragile. But I think it was successful. It feels relatively firm, and once it's attached to the page, it's not going anywhere. The stitching is, oh, I have some messy stitching, just gave myself away. I quite like it. I don't know, what do you all think? Let me know in the description below, in the comments below. Hello everybody, back again. So I just thought I'd pop it onto the journal page so that you could see how it will look, and I really love it. I'm not sure if the paper will become a little bit fragile because of all the stitching in it, and that is something to consider. So perhaps I may put a triangular piece of paper and glue that on the back just to add some stability, and that may even glue the stitches in place. But I think it makes a fun little curtain tuck, so I'm super happy with the way it came out. I love when I'm inspired to create something that I haven't seen before, because sometimes I feel like I'm not doing enough of that. So I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you, Treasure Book, so much for the inspiration and for sharing your fabulous ideas. I've had lots of fun with this, and it's a relatively simple and quick little tuck to make. So as you see, it didn't take me long to make a reasonable length ruffle roll, and if you're a sewer you probably do it a lot quicker than I did, but it was relatively quick to put together the actual tuck as well. So I hope you enjoyed this. Please like my video if you like what you've seen, and subscribe if you'd like to see more, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Happy crafting everybody. Bye for now. Go out and have some fun and experiment with ideas. It's lots of fun. Bye.